All right, so are you ready to like step into the world of metal furniture?
Yeah.
And we're not just talking about like, enjoying your cool metal desk.
Right.
We're going to dive deep into like your role catcher resources to get you prepped for an interview as a metal furniture machine operator.
Okay.
So get ready to go from, assembling IKEA furniture
Yeah.
to being the person who says like, I make industrial chic.
I love it.
Because this is about understanding like the guts and the glory of working with metal.
Yeah, you're spot on. It's a field that requires like this real blend of having a technical mind, but also a craftsman's eye, you know?
Yeah.
And when it comes to interviewing, showing that you've got that unique blend is really key to like standing out from everyone else.
Okay, so let's say you walk into the interview and they hit you with this question right out of the gate.
Okay.
Tell us about your experience with metalworking machinery.
Right.
Sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But how do you really, like, knock it out of the park when they ask you something like that?
So this is your chance to really show off your passion. You
Yeah.
know, don't just rattle off a list of every machine you've ever touched. Like, think about specific projects where you're like, yeah, that's where my skills really shined.
Right.
So maybe you mastered the lathe while you were working on a really intricate design. Or maybe you're like, I'm the welding guru. Everyone comes to me because my seams are always perfect.
It's like the difference between saying, yeah, I can bake, versus, I made this 3-tiered cake one time with edible sugar flowers.
Exactly.
It's like one is basic knowledge and the other one is showing them like, yeah, I have skill.
Yeah, it shows passion and skill.
Exactly.
And you know what? Even before you walk into the interview room, RoleCatcher can give you a leg up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, their AI is really cool. It can actually analyze that specific job description.
Oh, wow.
It can pull out keywords related to machinery or techniques, and then it helps you tailor your answers to match exactly what they're looking for.
So it's like having this secret weapon in your back pocket
Exactly.
before you even walk in the door.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say the interviewer's like digging a bit deeper now,
Okay.
and they ask you something like, how do you ensure you're meeting quality standards?
Okay.
That's where things get really interesting, right?
Absolutely. This is where your attention to detail and your commitment to excellence really take center stage.
Yeah.
So you want to think about your process from start to finish. So like understanding the blueprints to using calipers for those precise measurements,
Right.
even like conducting thorough visual inspections at the end, you know?
Right.
Share specific examples of how you've maybe caught a potential defect or how you've gone the extra mile to make sure that that finish is absolutely flawless.
And I bet mentioning like specific industry standards that you're familiar with could be really good too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like if you could say like, oh yeah, always make sure to adhere to the AWS D1.1 code for welding or something like that.
Exactly. It shows that you're not just blindly following instructions, you understand the why behind those standards.
Right.
And the importance of giving them a product that meets all of those benchmarks.
Okay, so speaking of understanding the why, let's talk about those blueprints.
Okay.
Because they could ask you something like this.
Yeah.
Walk us through your approach to reading and interpreting technical drawings.
Okay.
That question alone would make my head spin if I wasn't prepared.
It's like deciphering a roadmap to building something incredible.
Right.
And that's the energy you kind of want to convey when you're answering that question.
Yeah.
Highlight your ability to translate those symbols, dimensions, and material specifications into like a real tangible product.
Right.
Mention any experience you have with CAD software because that's becoming so important in today's world.
Yeah, and if you've got a particularly impressive story about a time that you spotted an error on a blueprint
Oh, yeah.
and like you saved the day,
Yeah.
that's a mic drop moment right there.
It certainly wouldn't hurt. It shows that you're not just mechanically following instructions. You're engaged. You're thinking critically. You're invested in making sure that project is a success.
Okay, so speaking of critical thinking, let's talk troubleshooting. Because let's be real for a second. Machines, they break down sometimes.
They do.
They have a way of throwing curveballs.
Right.
So how do you answer that question that everybody dreads,
Okay.
which is, have you ever encountered a machine malfunction? How did you handle it?
It's all about staying calm under pressure.
Okay.
Think on your feet. So instead of just saying, yeah, I fixed it, walk them through your thought process. What
Right.
was the first thing you did? Did you isolate the issue? Did you check for any obvious causes like loose connections or maybe material jams?
Right.
Did you consult the manual? Do you have like a go-to checklist in your head that helps you diagnose the problem systematically?
It's like being a detective.
Yes.
You've got to like figure out what's going on.
Right.
And this is another area where RoleCatcher's AI can really help you out.
Really? How so?
Well, they have this massive database of interview questions.
Oh, wow.
And that includes ones specifically on troubleshooting.
Yep.
So you can actually practice your answers,
Yeah.
get feedback from their AI on how to improve, and even do mock video interviews to like boost your confidence.
Wow.
Talk about being prepped for anything.
That's amazing.
Right.
It's an invaluable resource, especially for tackling those curveball questions that can really make or break an interview.
Yeah. Thinking about those curveball questions makes me think about workplace safety,
Right.
because it seems like that would be a really big deal in a job where you're working with like, giant metal bending machines and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. You are so right. Safety is like priority number one in this industry.
Yeah.
And it's not just about protecting yourself either, right?
Right.
It's about looking out for your colleagues, making sure everyone gets to go home safe every day,
Right.
and, just creating a really productive work environment for everybody.
Yeah.
So when you answer a question about safety, don't just like rattle off a list of protocols.
Right.
You really want to share specific examples of times that you've gone above and beyond.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah, so maybe you noticed like a frayed cable and you immediately reported it.
Yeah.
You potentially prevented an electrical hazard. Or maybe you took the initiative to like reorganize a workspace that was really cluttered.
Right.
And you minimized trip hazards.
Yeah. It's about showing them that safety is like ingrained in how you work.
Exactly.
It's not just a box to tick off.
Exactly. And don't downplay the connection between safety and efficiency.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, a clean, organized workspace means fewer errors, less wasted time searching for tools, and ultimately like a much smoother production process.
Yeah. It's like that old saying, a place for everything and everything in its place.
I love it.
Okay, speaking of everything, let's talk about welding for a second.
Okay.
Because that's got to be like, one of the skills that always sparks a lot of interest.
It is.
So how should someone tackle the question, what welding experience do you have and what are your preferred techniques?
So this is your chance to really geek out a little bit and show off your technical expertise. Don't be afraid to get specific, mention the different welding processes that you're familiar with.
Okay.
So like MIG-TIG stick,
Right.
highlight any certifications you have.
Right.
Talk about the types of metals you've worked with, so steel, aluminum, stainless steel, the different gauges you've mastered.
Wow.
But remember, it's not just about listing off those skills.
Right.
It's about showing that you understand when and why to use them.
Okay, so it's like the why behind the what.
Exactly. So instead of just saying, I'm good at MIG welding,
Right.
you could say, I prefer MIG welding for its speed and efficiency when I'm working on a larger project like fabricating those heavy-duty steel shelves.
That's a good one.
Give them context.
Yeah.
And don't forget to mention any experience you have with different joint designs or welding positions.
Oh, okay.
It all adds depth to your answer, and it shows you've got a really well-rounded skill set.
And this is another place where RoleCatcher can really come in handy, right?
Yes.
Because their AI can look at those job descriptions.
Right.
And like pull out the specific welding skills and experience that seem to be the most important for that role.
Exactly. It's like having a personalized career coach right in your pocket.
I love it. Okay. So let's shift gears for a second and talk about time management.
Okay.
Because let's be real, in a busy production environment, things can get super hectic.
Oh, tell me about it.
Right. So how do you suggest someone answers the question?
Yeah.
How do you prioritize tasks and manage your time effectively?
Okay.
Especially when you've got like multiple projects all going on at the same time,
Right.
each with their own deadlines and specifications.
Yeah. It's all about showing that you are organized, that you can stay focused, and that you're adaptable.
Okay.
So share your strategies for staying on top of things.
Okay.
Do you use to-do lists? Do you like to break down larger projects into smaller, more manageable tasks?
Right.
Maybe you color code your blueprints or use a whiteboard to track your progress.
Or maybe you've got like a go-to app on your phone that keeps you
yeah.
organized.
Exactly. The key is to show them that you have a system that works for you.
Right.
And that you're going to be proactive about communicating with your supervisor if there are any delays or if you hit any roadblocks.
Yeah, communication is key.
Always.
Okay, so speaking of being proactive, let's go back to safety one more time.
Okay.
What about a question like, can you describe a time that you identified a potential safety hazard and took steps to address it?
So this is a classic behavioral interview question.
Okay.
And it's really designed to see your judgment, your problem-solving skills, and your commitment to safety.
Okay.
So again, don't be afraid to get specific.
Okay.
Did you notice a machine that wasn't grounded properly? Were there like materials left near a walkway?
Right. Was someone not wearing their safety glasses?
Exactly. Those are all great examples. And then walk the interviewer through what happened.
Yeah.
What did you observe? What were the risks involved?
Right.
What steps did you take to actually fix the hazard? And then what was the outcome of your actions?
Yeah, it's about, being proactive instead of just like waiting for someone else to notice.
Exactly. And speaking of being proactive, what about making sure those finished pieces like meet the exact design specifications? So
Right.
think about if they ask you, how do you make sure that your work's consistently aligning with those detailed designs?
It seems like it would take a lot more than just like eyeballing it.
Oh, for sure. This
Yeah.
is really about showing that you get it. You understand that every cut, every bend, every weld,
Right.
it all impacts that final product.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to talk about the tools you use,
Right.
calipers, protractors, maybe even like laser measuring devices if you're doing those really high precision jobs.
Right.
But even more important than that, I would say talk about the mindset that you're bringing to this work.
Okay, so it's about thinking like a craftsman, and not just an operator.
Exactly. It's about understanding the why behind those measurements, the tolerances, why you're using one material versus another.
Right.
Maybe you even have like a system for double checking your work against the blueprints at like different stages of the game.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. Or maybe you're known for just being super meticulous about those finishing touches.
Right. And I bet RoleCatcher's AI could even help you out here, like by finding some of those keywords in the job description that relate to precision or quality control measures.
Absolutely. It's all about tailoring that answer to show them that you understand their priorities and that your skills match up perfectly.
Okay, so last but not least, how do you stay up to date on the latest trends in metal furniture?
Okay.
Because I don't really picture a ton of tech conferences with robots welding chaise lounges or anything like that.
Right.
But I'm sure things are always evolving.
You would be surprised. It's a lot more dynamic than people think.
Oh, okay.
So when interviewers ask you about how you stay current, they're really looking for that curiosity.
Yep.
They want to know that you want to keep learning, keep growing.
Right. So it's not just about being able to like run that one machine. It's about being open to new techniques and new materials and new ways of thinking about things.
Exactly. Maybe you took a welding course recently that showed you this really cutting-edge technique, or maybe you subscribed to some industry magazines
Right.
to stay in the loop about new materials or sustainable practices.
Yeah.
Even mentioning that you've used RoleCatcher to check out some related career paths or see what trends are popping up,
Right.
it all shows them that you're proactive about your own professional development.
It shows them you're invested.
Exactly.
They're not just looking for a job. You're looking to build a whole career in this industry.
I love that.
Okay, so there you have it.
Awesome.
That was our deep dive into acing that metal furniture machine operator interview.
I hope you feel prepared.
Remember, it's not just about knowing the machinery. You got to showcase your passion,
Yes.
your problem-solving skills, your commitment to safety, and your dedication to quality.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher has your back every step of the way, from understanding the job market to crafting the perfect answers and even practicing your delivery with those AI-powered tools.
It's like having a personal career coach right in your pocket.
Exactly.
All right, now go out there and wow them with all your metalworking magic.
Okay.
You got this.